Alright. Hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and because we are finished with the X Men movies over on the channel, go check out any of the X Men movies. He's out now if you haven't already. It's time for the X Men Saga Retrospective. So, of course, the X Men, because they're now them and Fox are now acquired by Disney. This obviously means that the series is going to be rebooted essentially and retooled for the MCU. But as for the initial series of movies, what went right and what went wrong? So let's find out. Um, for those of you who've seen these retrospective videos before, you kind of already, for the most part, know how this works. For those who haven't, I'm going to be talking about various aspects of the X Men movies. So we have a few categories. I have my favorite and least favorite X Men movie, my favorite and least favorite prequel movie, and my favorite and least favorite solo movies. Then we have my favorite and least favorite overall movies. So, oh, even if a movie is my favorite of the movie or least favorite of the movies, they may or may not be in the favorite overall movie or least favorite overall movie, but those are the movies that are truly a cut above and below the rest. Then we have my favorite and least favorite X Men character, that being of the main X Men team. Then my favorite and least favorite villain. And then we have characters that could have been improved, aka characters that I feel like could have been utilized a bit more. Then what I think went right, and what I think went wrong. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So, starting with my favorite X Men movie, I definitely got to give it to Days of Future Past. Days of Future Past was a pretty fun, pretty cool movie, kind of bridging the gap between the older X Men and Saga up to this point, the original X Men, and now the prequels, and kind of bridging the gap, passing the torch in a way. Then, in terms of my least favorite, I put X2 and The Last Stand, mainly because I didn't really like them as much as like the other X Men movies, that being the OG or like Days of Future Past or stuff like that. Then for my favorite prequel movie, I gotta go with First Class. The other prequel movies, some of them, as you'll see, are okay or fine, but at First Class, I feel like was pretty solid, and in my opinion, the other prequel movies don't really live up to that. At least in my opinion. And remember, these are all my opinions, so if you did agree or disagree, that is totally fine. In terms of my least favorite prequel movie, I unfortunately got to give it to Dark Phoenix. I feel like it only really scratched the surface, and more could have been done with it. They tried again to do the whole Dark Phoenix saga in movie form, and sadly, it didn't really pan out. Then, for my favorite solo movie, I put Deadpool and Logan, and both are really awesome movies for two very different reasons. And for Deadpool, it's a lot of fun, insanity, and action, and but for Logan, it's a lot more emotional and a true, really awesome send off. And I still maintain, even after looking at the rest of the X Men movies after Logan, I still maintain, and if Logan truly was the end of the X Men saga, I don't think anybody would have been mad at it. I think it would have been the perfect send off. But then my least favorite solo movie, sadly, I gotta go with X Men Origins Wolverine. And, a lot of stuff I feel like wasn't done that well. And of course, that god awful presentation of what they did to Deadpool. Well, that is truly unforgivable. My favorite overall movie, I also got to give to Deadpool, Logan, and for the aforementioned reasons that I mentioned already, they were really awesome, really cool movies. Then for my least favorite overall movie, I definitely got to go with Dark Phoenix for my for the aforementioned reasons. And then for my favorite X Men character, I of course gotta go with Wolverine. Now, as I'll bring up later on, he's kind of a double-edged sword, but Wolverine I think is done fantastic. Even though something else I'll bring up, he doesn't quite look like Wolverine. Hugh Jackman still did a fantastic job as Wolverine, presenting him as the cool yet tragic, like feral animal like character that he is. For my least favorite X Men characters, I gotta go with a lot of the mutants that were present in First Class, which you may be like, Nigel, well, why'd you put them there? You just said First Class was your favorite prequel movie. Yes, but considering a lot of them didn't really make it further along into other movies, aside from maybe one or two, who they're sadly almost kind of forgettable, which is a shame. For my favorite villain, this one was probably obvious, but I gotta go with Magneto. Magneto. They do a good job presenting him. They play off the whole mutant debate between him and Professor Xavier, or that being wanting to be peaceful with humans versus seeing all humans as a threat, and I think they did that well with Magneto. And even in the prequels, I think Magneto, for the most part, or aside from one or two drawbacks, was pretty cool. In terms of my least favorite villain, I gotta go with Dr. Cecilia Reyes from the New Mutants, only because, and I think as a byproduct of the movie being so short, she's kind of a forgettable villain, which sucks. If it wasn't her, then it was probably the Dabari Empire from Dark Phoenix. But I think I gotta go with Reyes as here. And as for characters that could have been improved, I went with both Cyclops and the New Mutants. Cyclops, I feel like they could have explored him and Wolverine's tension beyond as fighting over Jean Grey. Yes, that's one aspect of it, but there's the other debate of leadership. Wolverine feels like Cyclops shouldn't be able to tell him what to do. Essentially, Wolverine doesn't like taking orders from Cyclops, and Cyclops essentially the one put in charge by Professor Xavier. And Wolverine essentially has a problem with it, but sadly they didn't go as in depth as they could have with that. And the New Mutants and the whole New Mutants team, from the New Mutants movie, I wish they would have done more with, and I wish they would have had a longer movie. Then, what do I think went right with the saga? There was quite a few X-Men characters introduced. There's a lot of different characters from a lot of different walks of life, both X-Men heroes and the villains as well. They introduced quite a few of them, so there was plenty there, and exploring different storylines such as the Apocalypse Saga and the Dark Phoenix Saga. The essence of the X-Men is there, or that being the X-Men trying to live peacefully and peacefully coexist with humanity, and trying to stop the evil, quote unquote, evil mutants who see humans as a threat. And something else I don't think I mentioned, I don't think I wrote down here. Actually, I did not, but I did want to bring up by the way, is the kind of relationship, or kind of the strained relationship between humans and mutant kind. Both heroes and villains, humans still see mutants as a threat, and the X-Men essentially having to fight for equality. Because that obviously was based off real life and based off the civil rights movement, and so kind of presenting that there and having that dynamic in the movies, I think, was a good choice. Then improvements made later on some stuff that didn't really go as right in like some of the earlier movies. They did improve upon and touch upon more in the later movies, which is a good thing. And then some solid solo movie. He's aside from X-Men Origins Wolverine, the Wolverine, Logan, and both the Deadpool movies I thought were pretty solid for the most part. Alright, then what went wrong? I wish some of the characters and some of the storylines did get more development. I did mention how it was nice that they were brought up, but I wish some of them they went a little further with. Then there was the occasional cheesiness, which which for at least the earlier X-Men movies was kind of a byproduct of the 2000s. They call it the 2000s cheese, as present in a lot of movies, including a lot of the effects and like references and overall tone of like the movie and stuff. Yeah, it was definitely that 2000s cheese sometimes oozing. But some of the later movies had their own cheesiness from time to time as well. Then too much focus on some characters and not enough focus on others. Wolverine did get top billing, which makes sense. He's probably the most recognizable X-Men, but I wish some of the other characters got a little bit more as well. And then finally, the elephant in the room, which if the elephant was in the X-Men universe, it would probably be skinny because a lot of the physical appearances were kind of off. Thankfully, like I mentioned, some of these were improved, and with quite a few of these, such as like Colossus and Juggernaut, it actually took the Deadpool movies to fix it. But there were some characters that didn't look the way they were supposed to, and them not looking the way they were supposed to made them look very weird. As much as I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Wolverine's a lot shorter, but also a lot bulkier. Now, I imagine they probably didn't want to go overboard with Wolverine in looking too bulky because it would look very cartoony and ridiculous when put into live action. But yeah, you gotta get the accuracy. Thankfully, there were some characters such as Deadpool who were kind of able to get away with it because Deadpool sometimes is depicted as muscular, but also sometimes is depicted as a bit on the slimmer side. It fluctuates from time to time. I mean, I think Ryan Reynolds had a pretty decent build for it, and Ryan Reynolds obviously was looking in pretty decent shape. So I think that one could be forgiven. But yeah, I think that's going to about do it for this retrospective. So, the X Men Saga, I feel like kind of did it. They did a lot of stuff right. They did some stuff wrong. Overall, would I recommend it? I'd say for the most part, yeah. If you're really curious, it's best movie saga of all time. Not really, but sometimes even with like the cheesiness and some of like the frustrating moments, it does have a decent amount of charm to it from time to time. But nevertheless, I think that's going to do it for this retrospective. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the X Men Saga, my reviews of the X Men Saga movies, if you've seen them. If you haven't already, go check them out on the channel. I may or may not do a compilation video like I did with the others. I'm not entirely sure, but let me know in the comments your thoughts and what's your thoughts on the X Men movies or on superhero movies, and what do you think will happen with them when they go in the MCU? For me, unfortunately, I'm hoping for the best, kind of preparing for the worst. First, because sadly, he in a lot of ways, a lot of people are kind of fed up with the MCU, which does suck. But the MCU kind of going down a little bit. But maybe the X-Men are the key to revitalize the MCU. But nevertheless, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.